What's up, CineNerds? I'm JP Cross, and with me today is my wonderful co-host, side host, whatever kind of host.
I'm not a side chick, first of all. Co-host. Anyways, I'm Ryan. I think you guys know that by now.
And before we dive into today's episode, click like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that fun stuff. And today we are finally here. We are doing the 1988 Curse of the Queerwolf. And there's been a few of you guys in our chat and along the way that have pushed for this to happen, and Ryan's been very hesitant for months over this. And
By the way, I will just say this. I was right in my hesitancy because this is fucking atrocious. Let's go.
this movie is not atrocious. This movie
Atrocious, dude. Listen, your shit-eating grin right now is the only reason I found any humor in any parts of this movie, because all I could think at certain moments was this dumbass is laughing at this right now. So I would laugh because I was thinking of you laughing. So fuck off. This movie's awful. End of review. We're done. In fact, I will say this is worse than Party Animal.
Oh, no way.
Way.
This is my only gripe about this movie is I wish it was shot better. Everything else, no
That's
notes.
your only gripe?
Everything else, no notes. Perfect movie.
Okay. Now I know your mom dropped you on your head as a baby. It's true.
Now, so
Quickest review ever. We're 1 minute and 39 seconds. Done.
We're done. Ready to give scores?
0. No, just kidding. I won't go that low.
So if you've never seen Curse of the Queerwolf, this is a film done by Mark Pirro. I'm not sure how you.
I saw Peru.
Peru.
I just went with Peru. Pirru.
We'll go with Mark Peru, which he's actually been on my Facebook for multiple years. I should be able to, you would think I would pronounce his name, and I've been a fan of this movie since I first saw this movie in I didn't see this movie until like the early mid 2000s, so I was a little late to seeing this movie, but as soon as I saw this movie, I'll get into that. I'll go ahead and jump into this. So, one of my best friends and former guitar player, Mark Alexander, actually had this on VHS and brought it to my house. Said, JP, you have to see this movie. And he showed me the cover of it, and I was like, why, yes, I do need to see this movie.
The VHS.
Yeah. It was on VHS, and it wasn't even a DVD copy. And
I want to point out that I don't drink much on this podcast. I have a beer, and I've got a few more behind me because this one is taking me there.
So he brings me this VHS, and I watched this movie, and oh my God, I laughed. I cried from laughing so hard at this movie. And is this movie offensive by today's standards? Yes.
I mean,
but
I don't think it was offensive. I mean, there's some little stupid side comments that are whatever, but they're not. It's nothing too far.
It's still pretty offensive. I mean, by today's standards, this film would not be made today.
I mean, for the budget it had, and for some like college person or someone making this, I'm sure maybe it would.
So I first, like I said, I saw this on VHS in the early mid 2000s from Mark Alexander, and I just fucking adored this movie so much that I had one of those VHS DVD burner players that I actually took his VHS and copied it to a DVD disc, so I had like a disc with this film on it, so I had it because I couldn't find it anywhere back then. It wasn't like readily available.
So,
And still pretty early days of the internet for somewhat. It was kind of an obscure, hard film to find.
so let's rewind here. So since then, have you bought it?
Oh
Do you own
yes,
a copy that you bought?
yes, yes. I have a DVD copy of this, and the director on his website he has a 4-pack with this, a Polish Vampire in Burbank, and two of his other movies, and you can order them for I think it's like $40. You get them, and he signs it, and like I want to order that copy.
Didn't you say, and I really hope it was a nightmare, but didn't you say that there was a prequel?
Yeah, a Polish vampire in
That
Burbank.
that's what it's called. Jesus. I'm sorry. Listen, I know Megan thinks it's a good movie. I know you think it's a good movie. I know Rick thinks it's a good movie. This one is not for me. But let's
So
dig into this.
so actually I'm gonna point out something. So during the maybe about halfway through in this movie, do you remember where the main guy character is sitting in bed watching a movie? His
Yeah.
girlfriend goes out, and you see the movie. And it's like skeletons dancing and hugging together. You remember this?
Okay.
That is actually a scene from a Polish vampire in Burbank.
Yay. I'll leave that scene to the most of that movie that I'll see.
um, no, we gotta review that one too. We're doing this one. We gotta
I
do the
mean,
prequel.
if you force me to, as one of your choices, that's your prerogative, and I will have to follow suit. But I'm doubtful. I mean, at least that one just about a Polish vampire. So we'll see how that goes.
There is a Queerwolf in it.
Of course. So was Polish Vampire made before or after they made Queerwolf?
It was made before. Yeah, it was made before it.
Okay, so it's not a
So
prequel per se. It's the first part.
yeah, it's just another movie in the universe, I guess, per se.
The universe, like he's making some big verse of lore here. All right.
So I gave my impression. Do I even ask you your first impressions?
Well, my first impression is what I said initially is before, is that there. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some moments where I was like, "Get the fuck out of here," and I'm laughing, but it's only because all I could think about was JP's shit-eating grin, laughing at these stupid moments. Um, I thought I misheard him. I spit out my drink because I did laugh at homicide,
Almost. I,
the homicide detective, and so I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some and the poofers and the poofies, and the all the backdoor references throughout the movie, like the priest going, "Let's go in the back way," or "All behind us now." Like, there's just so many things. First impressions, though, like the cinematography was so rough. The story, you can tell the budget's low. I just this movie was confusing, not sexually. It was confusing in the sense that it was almost trying to be serious, but that it had these comedic attempts. We'll say attempts, and I just couldn't like. I like when a budget conscious movie is it understands its path. I like when it's either serious or it's not, and they understand that it's going to be what it is and shit, and they do their thing. And I just felt like sometimes they went off the comedic path here and tried to be serious. I mean, there was an underlying story, an attempt of some kind of organization. I don't know, man. This one was rough. And before we watched this, I thought it was I thought it was like an early 2000s movie or something. I didn't know it was an 88 movie, so that made it even worse.
I don't know where you get that you thought that there was going to be anything or what you even found halfway serious in this movie because start to finish, this movie is comedic. It is comedy.
No,
It is comedy
his
gold.
relationship, his love with his lady, when his friend and him are talking about the relationship aspects, he's talking about what things he wants out of life, and all these little elements are way too serious. Like I just couldn't like. But then honestly, the little like puns aside, the doctor's office, the way the way they would torture the patients into hating smoking or drinking and those things, those moments reminded me of Benny Hill, and I kind of appreciated those. I'm not gonna lie, that was definitely Benny Hill shit. So
Well, his
I was pulled for
coworker,
that.
yeah, his coworker. Okay, full stop for a second before I even jump into the coworker. So if you've never seen Curse of the
Richard,
Queerwolf, if you've never seen Curse of the Queerwolf, this film is a comedic film. It's not a horror film. It is a comedic film that Ryan says has some seriousness to it, but it's a comedic film. It's a comedy about a. They kind of talk about it on the news as a sexually transmitted disease that turns you into a cross dresser. Is kind of what they say, but essentially, if you get bit by Queerwolf, you become a Queerwolf, and it's about this guy Larry. It's going through his life of him turning into a Queerwolf,
Larry.
and that's essentially what the movie is about. He has a girlfriend. He works at a therapy doctor's office, like Ryan was saying, where they try to break people from having eating disorders or smoking or drinking, blah blah blah. Um, that's essentially the movie, and there's also people hunting these queer wolves, but
That they're so stereotypical too. There's a priest. There's a guy with a freaking fire, like a fire on a stick,
yeah,
and then
they're
there's
walking around
the
with
killers.
they're walking around with torches. Yeah,
Oh no, torches and a silver dildo.
because the only way to kill a queer wolf is a silver dildo in the ass.
The, the gypsy part where she's sniffing it and saying they're these are hard to polish after they're used. Like those were the like I found myself chuckling, but only because you doing that exact laugh you just did. You're kind of like it's a little Marty McFly laugh that you got going on.
Oh,
I
I mean,
literally heard it. I could hear you laughing through this entire movie while I was watching it. Almost at my torture. I felt like you were laughing kind of at the fact that you made me watch this.
so his friend you meet that he works with is his coworker, and his friend is a Richard. He is a freak. Like one of the beginning parts of the film, it starts with them in a strip club, and Richard is sitting there going, "Look at that babe! What a piece of poon!" He calls her a piece of poon. But what really strikes me is they're in like a strip club, but this girl's dancing with all of her clothes on. But yet later in the movie, his girlfriend's completely naked. So it was like, why not have the stripper naked? You know?
Because of the budget, it could have been not a set. It could have been an actual strip club, and he's just filming them. I mean, it's possible. So I don't know. I don't know. That was weird. Girlfriend was
Um,
cute by 80 standards.
yeah, yeah. No, his girlfriend was a very attractive lady for 80s
She
standards. Yeah.
she made me feel not as dirty about watching this movie.
But then, there's scenes in this movie with like, let's go back to Richard, where he's calling Larry and going, "Hey, let's go out tonight." And he's just literally nonchalantly laying on his bed with nothing but like 50 porno mags spread out across his bed while he's on the phone talking about going and finding, picking up, picking up chicks, essentially. Um, while he's there with his girlfriend. And he's not openly cheating. He's going out every night and cheating on his girlfriend. Um, which was ridiculous because he would go out to pick up these chicks and then talk about how much he loves his girlfriend.
Yeah, that whole thing was weird. But the other aspect I do want to touch base on here is first of all, with Larry being a queer wolf, his last name is Smallbutt,
Mm-hmm.
which is I that I don't know, that was just weird to begin with. Especially I think there was an interview by a reporter talking about him at some point, and said something and said Mr. Smallbutt. I thought that was crazy. But the best friend, his name is not. It's not just Richard, which dick. I mean, this movie's intense. Anyways, Richard Cheese, though. So I have a question about that. So there's isn't there a band, Richard Cheese? And this, I swear there's a band, and I was wondering if it got named because of this.
I don't know a band named that, but I would
I
love
swear
to
there's
listen
a
to.
band called Richard
I would love to listen to them, and I'd love to meet them to ask them if this was inspired by Curse of the Queerwolf.
uh, yeah, hold on. I'm looking this up because this is going to bother me if I don't. Yeah. It is Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine. He's like a kind of like, from my understanding, it's kind of like, what's the, they do the old school music with the orchestra and the cello behind them, but they're modern songs like Rage Against the Machine and stuff. Postmodern jukebox. He does stuff like that, and I think he's actually worked with them. So that'd be funny if he was named after that.
God, I hope. um, but there's all kinds of great. There's so many funny parts. Like after he goes home after this, he goes and gets in bed with his girlfriend, and when he goes down on her, he starts gurgling.
Mm. I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, he goes down on her and he starts gurgling. Then it cuts to the next scene with him gurgling mouthwash, which I found hilarious.
He didn't just gurgle the mouthwash. He gurgled mouthwash in the water or whatever, like 3 or 4 times. If I had ever done that next to my wife, she would have punched me.
But they started the gurgling sound while he was like going down on her, which I don't know. I got so tickled at this, and
Was that intentional or was it an audio mess up?
oh, I think it had to. It had to be intentional, man. It was just it was too good. It was amazing.
I don't remember catching that. So sorry.
Um, I'm surprised that you've the one thing that I figured you would hate about this movie, and I'm surprised you not said anything about it. So there is multiple murders, which the murders are just ridiculous, like you said, Benny Hill comedy. But then there's also 3 deaths of puppies and dogs in this film.
Well, we haven't gotten there. We're only we're 17 minutes in here.
I'm just jumping ahead because there are multiple dogs that are killed in this. Not actually, but
What's the third one? I only know about two. There was a knife throwing one, and there was a
okay.
microwave.
The first one was his he had an adult dog that his girlfriend said he liked the dog better than her, and he's like, yeah, because the dog listens to me, unlike you. And he told the dog to sit, and then he backed his car up and ran over it because the dog listened and didn't move. It sit where
That's
he
right. Yeah.
left him. And so she felt bad, went and got him a puppy, and he accidentally threw a knife, and that one got, gone. And then they get another one, and that one crawled in the microwave as he was heating up his food, and while him and his girlfriend were arguing, and he closed the door and started it, and that's where the third puppy went. So yeah, there was 3 of them. And there was a comment. There was a comment I found that no dogs were harmed in the making of this film. We shot them after the party.
No, it says we shot them all at the rap party.
Yeah, at the rap party. Yeah.
So yeah, I actually quoted that, put that in my notes. Yeah, so there was the dog aspect, but what I really want to get into, I mean, if we're gonna start getting into the nit and grit of this, is the restaurant scene. This restaurant scene was so atrociously. It was like a nightmare for me. It was. It's just
which one?
What do you mean? Which one? The restaurant sequence when they're all at the table at the end because the guys chasing him, they don't think that he's a queerwolf any longer. They think he's okay because he's wearing the talisman.
He's wearing the talisman, but what is the talisman made of? So let's back up just for a second before we get to that. So he turns into a queerwolf. And he wakes up. He doesn't realize he wakes up in a men's, what do you call those? Like a bathhouse.
Like a sauna.
Yeah, like a men's bathhouse sauna, and like all these men. There's like tons of men around there smiling and giving him a thumbs up.
I guess to your point, sorry to interrupt, but to your point, to give a little more depth to that. So the curse of the Queerwolf is every month, like a werewolf on the full moon, he transforms into a transvestite because a transvestite who got by him actually looked like I think that was a real woman that they used and
that was definitely a real
yeah
woman that they
and,
used.
and that was one of the people that he was cheating with, and when he got to a southern area, the reality was there, and the things that he screamed and his buddy heard in the next room were quite comedic. But he would transform, and the first full moon that came out, he lit he was walking funny after, we'll say that, but he woke up in that sauna, that thing, but he was walking funny, and all of a sudden flowers are getting delivered to his house. He's getting all these calls from all these people calling him all these different nicknames, and you're not aware of what happened. You just can assume, and it's quite uncomfortable, especially as the guy was walking. You could see how uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then during after all this, like, or actually before this, he actually accidentally runs into a gypsy with his car. He helps her up, and she sees in his hand the pansygram, which is a pansy, the 5-pointed pansy flower in his hand. Like werewolves, you're supposed to see the pentagram in their hand as a sign as they're a werewolf. Well, this one has a pansygram, and so she tells him. Then all that happens with the bathhouse, and then so he goes back to the gypsy like the following day. And it's like, hey, there's got to be a way to stop this. She says, yeah. And she pulls out the silver dildo, and that's when Ryan said a minute ago. She makes the comment about these are so hard to polish after they're used and this and that. But she said, oh, well, there's something else we can do too. You can wear this talisman, but you can never take it off. Whether you have sex, no matter what, you have to have this talisman on for the rest of your life, or you will turn into a queerwolf. That the talisman is this gold chain
I
with
thought it
a
was silver.
picture. Is it silver? Because I thought it was
It looked
gold.
like it, looked like it was silver.
All right. Well,
The copy
it's
I
a bit.
saw.
It's a chain.
It's a chain.
It's a chain.
Talisman.
It's a chain with this picture of John Wayne. Come on,
What?
that is
I didn't notice that.
yeah. It's a picture of John Wayne on the talisman. How did you not notice this? That's the big thing that, like, you have to believe in the Duke.
JP,
It's
there was nothing keep. I had to break this up into 3 parts. That's how bad it was, and I was like, "This is horrible." Like I
Well,
literally paused it 3 different times.
there's a
So
whole
I missed little bits.
there's a whole comedic part of between him and the gypsy where she's telling him, like, you have to believe in what John Wayne and what the Duke stands for. You have to really believe what he is and who he stands for. If you don't, you will turn into a queerwolf. There's a whole speech about it, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I think I went away in my head at that point. So
See,
sorry.
this is what happened. You went away and you missed all these amazing parts that are
No,
hilarious.
that part I missed, but I had to pause it to break it up so that I didn't have any more of those parts, because that's why my attention span was not pulled into this movie at all. Listen,
Literally, he's
and
literally
I'll
walking around with a picture of John Wayne around his chest.
and that's great because John Wayne is man's man. I get it. I understand why they put it there, but yeah, that talisman and the sequence of the talisman coming off though in the restaurant, it literally is the stuff nightmares are made out of for a normal straight dude.
So restaurant scene. That's where you wanted to go. You found you were at restaurant scene.
So they're at it. There's him, his girlfriend, his best friend, and his girlfriend, new girlfriend, we'll say, and they're sitting with the
Love her.
entire group of people that were the ones that literally broke into their house while his girlfriend and him were getting it on, and we're trying to kill him. And they're like, oh shit, we messed up. He's not a queer wolf because he's wearing a talisman, and they can't tell. Mind you, that was the second night in a row of the full moon out of the 4 nights in a row of full moons. Um, and
Yeah, it's like he said. It's like yeah, it's the fourth night of the full moon. Yes,
they made a joke about it in
yeah.
the movie. They said there's a whole joke to the 4 full moons in a row, and he the talisman has kept him at bay, so these people think he's okay. Well, these armed robbers come into the restaurant out of nowhere. So at this point, there's like 10, maybe 12 dudes in this restaurant with some girls. And in all the commotion of what's going on, I think the girlfriend was the one who pulled the amulet off by accident when she kissed him, right?
No, the robber did because he said, "I want the talisman." He said, "I want that," and
Yeah, but
he
no,
like,
he stood up and he had this whole magical moment of I'm a man, and
"Oh yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah,
he's bulletproof. So the one robber
yeah,
shot him, and because he can't be killed because he's
yeah,
a queer wolf,
yeah." That's right.
he
Yeah,
yeah he grabbed the gun from the robber and then turned the tables, and the girlfriend was all like kind of doing the My Hero vibe. And when she hugged him and she pulled away, she caught on to the talisman and it ripped off. And all of a sudden, he like instantly transforms into this transvestite. And yeah, it was it didn't end there. So all the guys now thinking that he's the queer wolf, we got to kill him. They all start jumping on him, trying to hold him down, and he's just iron, iron, iron. He's biting him left and right, and they're all like in the blink of an eye transforming also into transvestites. So by the time this is done, there's like 10 to 12 of them. I'm like, there's it was a lot.
it was amazing. Everybody turns into a werewolf.
Maybe in your dream world that was amazing. Not for me.
Even a wrist that is strong and firm will become limp when the moon is full.
I think you know what. As I look into the camera, I think this is the most times in any episode out of our 100 plus episodes that I have shook my head in disappointment. JP,
I don't know. Party Animal was bad.
listen, I got through that one though, and yes, it was bad, but I got through it. This one's definitely it's worse to me.
Um,
To me, I get that you guys have a little fan club. Okay, so settle down, Megan.
so he turns all these people into a queer wolf. Well, he also bites the priest, and I laughed so hard at
Well,
this
no, no, no,
because
no. So that was different. But go ahead.
yeah, I laughed so hard at this because the priest goes, "Oh, the priest, the God protects me from this. I won't turn into a queer wolf, or something to that degree." Well, him and the other main guy, part of the posse, leave, and they're driving down the road, and all of a sudden the priest transforms into a queer wolf, but he transforms into a nun.
Oh, that priest. I thought you were talking about the exorcism priest.
No, I'm talking about the one that
Yeah. So
transforms and he turns into a nun. I
he's
lost
talking.
it.
So he's talking about the main. So there's the priest who's trying to hunt down the queer wolves, along with the leader of the group of men. They were like, men of God cannot be turned into a queer wolf. Blah blah blah. And they both have been bitten and they hadn't transformed yet. And they're in the car, and the one dude looks over, and no, just the priest was bitten. And the dude looks over, and all of a sudden he's a nun. He's straight up cross dressing nun, and he bites the other guy, and now they're both they're both in that realm. But fast forward, we get to the gypsy shows up at his house, and she's like, "I found a cure. I didn't think I could, but I found a cure." And she presents a priest,
A sexorcist.
a sexorcist. Yes. Uh, God, every time I think you get more disappointed this movie. And what happens with this priest, this sexorcist, is even I think it's even funnier than the nun aspect, because of how it goes down. So he's a man of God, he can't be turned to, right? So he's performing an exorcism, all these things are happening. The gypsy gets her head wrecked, she gets it spun around, and she says something, even though her head's been 360, she still is talking somehow. The priest looks at him and he's trying to expel the demon as a sexorcist, and he says, "Come into me." And I was like, man, the amount of backdoor references in this movie, I just, yeah, not my cup of tea. But
And as he's doing the sexorcist, he's
you got to
throwing not
see,
holy
you
water.
just did it.
He's not throwing holy water. He's throwing Budweiser on on him, and he's not like praying to Christ. He's praying to Burt Reynolds and James Bond and the Duke, and he's naming all these tough guys. And then he starts going, "Come into me, come into me."
Well, let's rewind. If you hear the audio clip when you're editing this, you just go when he's doing the priest. So you're right there with these guys and these horrible one-liners. Just letting you know.
And so this priest actually takes the demon or whatever into him, and he's no longer a queerwolf, and the priest becomes a queerwolf and leaves. And all is well. The girlfriend shows up, but of course there's still a dead gypsy in his floor. Uh,
So I didn't mind from here forward because it was black screen. It was the credits, but while it's rolling, you have a whole other story kind of developing. The homicide detective, you hear his voice, and he's arresting Larry for the death of the gypsy. And there's a whole jail thing, and so, but it's all happening while the credits are rolling. So you're just left to imagine and visualize in
mhm.
your head what's happening. So there's questions, and I hope there's not a sequel, but there's questions.
Yeah, Larry goes to prison for the death of the gypsy.
Hmm. So,
So,
could you imagine a queer wolf in prison? That shit's gonna go bad real fast.
well, at least he's had experience. So before we dive into our actual review and thoughts on this film, I want to talk real quick because we mentioned it a little bit. The Benny Hill stuff at the office, the doctor's office with Richard. Richard kills three people. Like Richard unalives three people in this film, and one of them, the first one, is a girl that is obsessed with eating. She's a big girl, and her name is Mrs. Thyroid. So
Uh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say the alcoholic dude, because Larry shows up at the office for that one. He had been out for the other ones, and Larry shows up and he goes, "I don't think he was that big when we started." And little things like that. The smoker turning gray because they put so much carbon monoxide in him. It was
Yeah, yeah. He kills all three of them. One of them from overeating, overstuffing, or then one from over inhaling carbon monoxide from trying to stop him from smoking. Then the other one, he keeps feeding him alcohol to try to keep him from drinking, and he ends up unaliving all three of these people in the office. So, and you're right, they're all Benny Hill comedic parts, and they're hilarious. But he unalives three people, and there's no consequences for him.
you can tell he's got some influences from Mel Brooks. I mean, it's got some of those Benny Hill, Mel Brooks, all that stuff. It's got that just dry humor. So
Yeah, yeah. It's
dry perverse humor.
yeah. I love it. I laugh start to finish every time I watch this film. I laughed the other day when I watched it. I was like, "Oh my god, this movie's so funny." I can't get enough of it.
Me too. Me too.
So budget, we didn't. I know you already know the budget. We talked about this, but to let the everybody listening know, this film was done for estimated $10,000. So it was
But
a small budget.
and JP and I had looked it up before too because we were under the impression it was much smaller. It was like 1,500, but we the only thing we could find after we thought that was the 10K mark. So again, estimated is accurate.
Yeah. So this film had no budget at all. And it honestly, if you watch this movie with the cameras they're using, the lighting or lack of lighting, because there's no lighting in this film. Like the film looks bad. And you could tell even
It's an understatement, my friend. Understatement.
they've even tried to clean it up for like the version that you watch on Tubi now, but you can tell these were transferred from like probably like VHS like recorders or something that they recorded this with. Like, so there's always so much cleaning up they can even do at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I'm I'm trying to find a semblance of some kind of rationale here with this movie, and be honest in my judgment of it. I just, but for me, like, this movie was definitely rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
But
let's just
you never hold on, before we do that, I just want to give JP credit here too. Not once did he say this movie was like epically amazing or anything great. He was like, "No, it's horrible, but it's hilarious." Like, you were honest about it, and I respect that. That's cool. But I just, I don't understand the cult following aspect, at least in our listeners, with this movie. So I don't know.
I do. I think it's hilarious start to finish. I've watched this movie I don't know how many times. It's
I
yeah.
believe it because you thought the party animal was hilarious too.
It is.
Listen,
I
there's a small audience for this kind of shit, and you're it. You and Megan, I guess, and maybe
I'm
Rick.
I'm one of them. All right. Hop into your review of this. Let's get the bad news out of the way.
Uh, 2-year old guitar player. Say fuck you because it's your fault. I had to watch this movie. That's how I'll start. Uh, this movie, um, it's not as horrible as I'm making it. I'm just gonna say that this movie is definitely not for me. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie per se. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it doesn't mean that it's. I'm just being over the top because this isn't my vibe. This to me, the equivalent of what I'm saying is essentially when my son or any gay people I know have to watch heterosexual sex or any references in that regard. It's uncomfortable, and this movie gets uncomfortable. I mean, the restaurant scene alone, these fucking dudes are popping off like gremlins. I mean, they're literally multiplying like gremlins, and I just was like the amount of anxiety of thinking that there's a bunch of killer transvestites trying to come at me was just, it was awful. So for that, I'll give it. I'll respect that because it made me feel.
But they're not trying to hurt you. They just want to
They
give you
want
some
to
they want to give you some loving.
they want to bite and sexualize. Yeah, I get it. Which is even more horrific than death. So this movie was all sorts of rough for me. Literally that part's what nightmares are made of for me. And so I God bless you all for the ones who like it. I'm not shitting on you for liking it. It's your perspective. That's the beauty of movies. I always say this. How we feel about movies is all, it's all part of how we feel individually and what we like and what we dislike. And this movie is not for me in any way, shape, or form. So this movie's going really low. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember the rating I gave Party Animal. I think the rating I gave Party Animal was me being nice because of JP's feelings, honestly. If I think back about it, I just don't remember. But I think I gave Party Animal like a 2 or 2.2. This one is probably the lowest of all my ratings. I'm going with 1.4 nerds from me.
You know what? I just gave my review away. I'm gonna have to edit that last little part.
Just put, you know what? Because you've done this far, just put a little bloop over it.
I'll do a
Yeah,
bloop. So
yeah.
you
Look,
guys
look,
listening now, there's gonna be a beep at
we
what I
so
gave Ichi.
we to give you guys context, we fucked ourselves up here because normally we film sequentially for when we are airing these, and we did these out of order. We have given away a few things in the other episodes we recorded as well, and here we are. So apologies. We're not trying to ruin anything for you guys, but yeah,
I'm gonna fix this, but you guys are gonna be aware that there's fuckery going on in this episode.
that's my
So
favorite word in the world is fuckery. I love that word. As I keep drinking because this movie drove me to it.
my review of this film. Okay, I have seen this movie probably a dozen times through the years since I was introduced to it on VHS. I might add, and man, I have laughed my ass off every time I've watched this film. I fucking adore this film. Now this film has its issues, and listen, and I mentioned them briefly a minute ago. Cameras that they used were trash that they used to film this. There's no lighting. I don't think they used any lighting at all in any of the making of this film. So this film looks awful. I mean, it looks awful. Even like watching a restored version on Tubi, that is a restored version, it looks rough. So that's my issues with this movie. Now, the actual movie itself, I laugh my ass off. I think the comedy is fucking brilliant, and it's so stupid that I laugh my ass off start to finish. All the little quirks, like, you know, Richard wearing a shirt with a drawing that he drew on it with a guy with a big penis, like, on it. Like, it's little shit all through this film that I just think is hilarious. Now, if this movie had better cameras, better lighting, I would rate this much higher than what I'm going to rate it. Um, just for because I think the movie is brilliant, and I'm not even saying change actors. I'm not saying change anything about the movie. Just visually, if it could have been better, with lighting and cameras.
But that's where you got to give it that break because it was only a 10K budget. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I get it, and I am giving it a break, and I'm just saying that I would have loved to have seen a version of this film exactly how it is, but just a little cleaner, a little brighter in spots. It's not a big ask, but it's too late now. Outside of that, I'm looking at the movie as it is, and the actors. I love the actors. Are they great actors? No, not really. Any of them are great actors.
The
I mean,
girlfriend is great. She's solid.
Richard was actually pretty good too. As freaky as Richard was actually pretty awesome too.
He did own the creeper.
He
I
owned
will
the
say
creeper.
that. He definitely owned the creeper.
Yeah, he is he's like the fucking Will Patton of this fucking movie. He was so intense and he zoned in on that role.
See, I gotta real quick. I just gotta say, I really am thankful that there isn't a better resolution of this movie because if they had better camera angles, it would have been way worse. The blurriness of the transvestites was helpful.
But I'm gonna give this a solid 3.1 out of 5 nerds because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Wow. I don't let's see. I think Party Animal, I Heart Huckabees, um there's a couple others through these 100+ episodes. Usually we're kind of in the same ballpark within one nerd of each other, but this is one of those ones that your score doubles mine. And yeah, I'm sorry, man. I tried. I wanted to like this movie because of you, because of Megan, because of Rick. Everyone said such good things about it in a comedic way, not in like a serious way, but you guys really stood by it and you guys have never backed down. And so I gotta give respects to you guys staying true to it. But Jesus Christ.
Now,
And
now
go ahead.
I was saying now Rick actually prefers a Polish vampire in Burbank over this.
God damn it. Well, if I'm desperate and I can't find anything to watch, I'll go over. I'll add that some year, someday. I say it in that order for a reason. No, but I guess so. I really, really have to give credit and respect, and this isn't because he's on your friends list on Facebook, but despite me tearing it apart, I do think well of Mark Peru. And the reason I'm going to say this is because I love anyone who is putting forth their best effort to make an independent film with low budgets, with mediocre casts, they're doing the best they can with what they have. I always have to give respect to that. So, even though this movie isn't for me, clearly it's for some. And I mean, you've impressed the hell out of JP and made a lifetime of memories for this guy. And I want to point out that isn't just a lifetime of memories. He's gone back to this for 18 hours of his life. 18 hours he's committed to watching this film a dozen times. I need to point that out because those are 18 hours you can never get back, JP.
Don't want them back. Worth it.
I mean, maybe you know what? I know why you like this movie. I know why it is. You dream about having a free pass once a month on a full moon.
I mean, could be.
Hey,
It's
to
20.
each their own.
It's 2025. It's not 1988 anymore.
Oh my
Or it's
goodness.
2026. I forgot. We've went up a year. It's 2026.
Well, at least there was more awareness of this kind of thing back then. I mean, we had Ryan White and we had the whole AIDS pandemic. And I mean, times have changed. You're absolutely right. And not to get too serious because this episode is what it is, but like there's a different day and age right now, and I love the acceptance aspect of everything. That is beautiful because I mean, we've talked, we know about children, we'll say, and if it wasn't, I would probably some of the hate that can come towards that community. I would probably be killing people because I can't handle bigots and negative bullshit. Love who you're gonna love, be who you're gonna be. Doesn't mean I need to watch it on a film, but love who you're gonna love and be who you're gonna be always.
And there's some offensive stuff by today's standards in this film, but there's also they make fun of the bigots. Look at the rednecks in my image behind me. They're making fun of those guys.
Oh
They're
my
making
god.
they're making fun of the priest and the lynch mob that's chasing down the queer wolf. They're making fun of these bigots.
And notice, I hate to say this because it's our people, JP. Notice it's all white males. And the hillbillies, they cracked me up now that you brought them up. They cracked me up because you could clearly see that they had teeth pieces in, like fake teeth. And then the one hillbilly who was wearing the long johns, he also had on like some badass Adidas. So I was like, they scrolled down by accident, and I was like, oh, I like those Adidas. Those are cool.
You got any recommendations?
Oh Jesus. I don't have recommendations. But I'm going to talk about something unique. I started a new job recently, and at my new job, I had the privilege of talking to some younger people. And some of my first questions, getting to know people, usually is, "What's your favorite band? What's your favorite movie?" Because I'll tell you what, favorite band, favorite movie tells a lot about individuals. And the one person who's at my job, he is a complete movie buff. Not the genre that I like per se, but he loves movies. And you're going to know this name of this movie because I'm not going to remember it. It's an Italian movie, and it was based off the manga that Dylan Dog was based off of. It's like a Morte or um, what is it?
I've not. I know what you're talking about, but I have not seen it.
All right, give me one sec. So while I'm talking about that, I talked to another young girl who she's 21, and I asked her favorite movie, and she said La La Land. It's like a 2015 movie.
Yeah.
I have not seen these movies, so hearing from other people is always a plus to me about these kind of things. Oh, here it is. It's Della Morte Dell'Amore, and it's by the same person who wrote Dylan Dog. And so when my friend told me that, because I was like, "Wait, you like foreign Italian film and it's horror?" I go, "Let's go!" And he sent me the pick, and it had that. So La La Land and that movie, Diamante d'Amore, or whatever it is. I'm going to be looking for those and I'm going to be checking them out because I don't expand my horizons too often, and those two movies I think are interesting.
Yeah. I'll be interested in the Dylan Dog one. La La Land, I know what that one is. I'm not going to be interested in that, but the one with Dylan Dog, Ryder, yeah.
So to that point, my wife and I have been together almost 25 years this year, and I think I've watched one chick flick with her in the entirety of all that time. So I'm not a big like romantic or rom com, any of that kind of stuff guy normally. But La La Land, I guess, has that vibe. So we'll see.
So, my recommendation, and I've not got to season 2 yet, and it's been out for a handful of months now. But I just did a rewatch of Twisted Metal the series, and Jesus, I love that series. That
It
series is so good, and
I
I cannot wait to actually get to season 2 finally.
Well, I've only seen season one as well, so that's kind of funny you bring that up. And I know that two released and three is in the works because they like is it Paramount who has that or is it Peacock?
It's on Peacock.
Yeah, I do. It was one of the P's, but they're really vested in it. They've gotten good results out of it, and they're really committed to putting the right budget into it. And it seems like from the previews I've seen for season two, it seems like it's expanding in the right area.
I've heard season 2 is way better than the first season, and I I loved the first season when I watched it, and I just rewatched it, and I'm not a big Anthony Mackie fan. I'm not a big
I am.
Anthony Mackie fan,
I'm here for him.
but and even when he first casted him, I started seeing stuff like the trailers for this series when it initially came out a few years ago. I was like, Anthony Mackie, I don't know. Well, I ended up watching it, and man, I love Anthony Mackie. Completely embraced the camp of that role, and Anthony Mackie to me knocks it out of the park. Like it gave me actual appreciation for him because I wasn't a fan of his.
Michael B. Jordan and Anthony Mackie are probably my two favorite African American actors right now. I love them. I'm sorry, they're in the top three. Idris always wins. Idris
Idris
is amazing.
always,
Yeah,
Idris Elba always wins.
he's amazing. I can't. Yeah,
So yeah, I no, it gave me a huge appreciation for Anthony Mackie, and I liked Anthony Mackie and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really enjoyed him in that too. But the way he does his role in Twisted Metal, he completely embraces that it's a campy story and a campy role, and he just for me as a person that loves that kind of film, he slugs it out of the park. Like he is absolute. I'd love to see him do more roles like this. Like he's fantastic in it.
yeah. So you mentioned Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I loved that series, and I loved the Brave New World Captain America a lot because of Anthony Mackie and because of the way they incorporated the other Captain America that was he was the black Captain America that they kind of made disappear, if you will. The way that that storyline, the way that story arc was presented, the way that it was carried, the way that it was executed, all aspects of it, I appreciated, I respected, and I thought it was done so tastefully. So it's amazing to me sometimes when people kind of attack the woke aspects of things, but when it's done right, it matters. And in this instance, I felt like it mattered. So Anthony Mackie won me over a lot with those two series before even seeing Twisted Metal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw Twisted Metal obviously long before Brave New World, but I can't remember what came out first, Twisted Metal or Falcon and Winter Soldier. But
Twisted Metal did.
then I probably I had to watch Twisted Metal first. Then
I love the Twisted Metal series because it's a different approach to the video game show, right? So it's like basically they when you're playing the video game, you don't really have backstory to these characters. You just are playing as them, and you have their abilities, and you're just having fun beating the shit out of the other cars, and it's awesome. It's uh,
well, you get those backstories after you beat the game.
well, yeah, but it's I don't know. It's not as big of a deep dive because it was like we're talking like PlayStation 1, right? I mean, so I mean those things, and into PlayStation 2, there was obviously sequels, but like
And PlayStation 3.
yeah, I mean, I think on PlayStation 5 you can download the old school ones too, all of them, and play them still. So, but that aside though, like the way they're developing these characters and giving them substance and giving them intense backstory and more character, I love it. It's great. Good call out. I like that.
All righty. CineNerdsPodcast.com. Like, share, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. We've talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the episodes are on there. Follow YouTube, follow the Spotify, follow the Apple Podcast, do all that. So, till next time,
CineNerds out.
later.